The being Mary Jane syndrome. Now, apparently, based on research, there are a large and alarming number of black women who are single in the US and in the UK. Now, in America, Essence.com, they posted this article, right, based on research from matchmakers with the top 7 reasons as to why black men do not want to approach black women. The 7 reasons, some of them was, we don't seem as fun, right? We look like we can't be bothered. This is about black women, and black men think this. You don't offer enough support. We don't offer enough support. We're more inhibited sexually, and men's friendliness is always misunderstood by black women, and we put too much pressure on black men.
Wait a minute. Are we saying if black women are really single, or the quality of guys that are out there are not necessarily?
I think
Too many women.
I think the quality of guys is not.
Can I be understanding? Yeah. Let's understand something.
Yeah.
Can I be understanding?
Like, let's understand something. There's too many women. Yeah. There's like 7 to 1 guy.
If you had a
not
choice,
everyone's
would you
going to
have
get
more than
married.
1 woman?
We cannot answer them kind of questions. I'm married. What kind of questions are these? That is not in the manual. Edit, cut, remove.
Okay, hypothetically speaking, if you could have more than 1
My dad did, my uncles did, my dad's dad did, my
friends are the same.
Yeah. Okay. What happened now is generations have changed. It's you women now that are not accepting it.
Yeah.
It's you women now that are not accepting it. My moms, my aunties, 4 wives, 3 wives, 2 wives.
But how wealthy were they?
What wealthy?
How wealthy were the men?
Some people were poor as shit and had 7 wives.
Well, then that's
it was about the fact that there wasn't enough women. There's not enough men.
Because you know why? Because women are on the rise. They're
we're saying,
not taking the shit.
Yeah. Now you're doing empowerment and everything. Fantastic, wonderful. Yeah. Some of you are not going to marry.
Yeah, it's true.
Some of you are not going to have kids.
They're going to be forever single.
Some of you are going to be single forever. Some of you are going to be in and out of relationships.
But
what I'm saying is because there's 7 to 1. So that one woman that's not willing to do 100%, that guy is going to find another woman that's willing to do it. It's just how it works. Why? Because guys more than likely
can we also talk about the caliber of men? Because come on, it's shoddy business going on out there. Like some of my friends, I'm like, you good girls, but the guys,
they always go for
girls like bad guys.
That's true.
And then they want it to turn good.
It's an age. It's the
age
and the generation.
They like bad guys. Why? You want a man that can protect you and hold it down and respect you.
I don't need protecting anymore.
And then, as he gets older, you tell him, listen, you got to drop something out, and he's looking at you like, yeah, but how?
I agree with that. I think sometimes there's the thrill of the bad guy, but I do feel
in what day and age? It's not the 90s
anymore.
He's still out there.
Not the thrill of the bad guy, but you want a guy with a little bit of edge, because you don't want someone who's
boring.
Flashy. That can kind of be a bit feisty or has his own opinions. But I do think though, with social media, I think guys are getting a bit too brave, and they because they think there's loads of options, more options. There are. So they're kind of like, oh, okay, you won't do it.
It's in Miami.
Well, yeah, exactly.
In Atlanta, it's lit.
Because all they have to do is slide in the DMs. Way back when, there wasn't the DMs. There wasn't even,
there was free voicemail.
DMs is a bit scummy.
Free voicemail.
So it was harder. It was harder to kind of see your options. But I think now, men are spoilt for choice, and they're being picky. So I think.
So are women. Why are we like thinking that it's only men? Do you know how many men
because
are out there?
Because you must respect yourself. Let's not forget that.
Let me tell you something.
Let's not forget. This is another issue. A lot of women want to be like men, and men are now thinking, well, if you want to be men, be men. Let's
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Not that it's right for men to do it, but a lot more women are trying to do what men are doing. And men are coming across
I'm not talking about sleeping with everybody, but having your options. If you know what I mean, if the offering that's currently there isn't really saying nothing.
If this is a current account. What offer?
This is not Santander.
A woman should take her time with a man and get to know him, not sleep with him. I'm not saying. I mean, get to know him and see if it's compatible. Problem with a lot of women is they don't ask questions. They feel like if I ask them too many questions,
I want to know your credit.
You're getting places.
What's your credit score? Like what you're really saying, you know?
Is he lit?
But you're right. I think some women,
No
you're right,
questions.
some women don't have the standards.
You want to have children, you don't want to have
Exactly,
children.
but some women
You're
don't
really
have the
working,
standards,
don't
but
work.
then because those women don't have the standards, it makes it an effect on everyone because then they think every woman has got no standards.
Yeah.
Because if you meet 10 women and you're going through no standards 10 times,
Yeah.
you meet number 11 and she's like, I got standards. You're like, please.
Yeah.
You're going to first say, please.
But
Why?
isn't it all about sex then? If
No.
that's the case,
No,
the
it's
ease
not.
of sex. Because isn't that really the end goal that if you're meeting 10 girls, they're all saying the
You're
same
gonna
thing.
bang.
The 11th one says she's got standards, but you're like, nah. Isn't
That's
it
why some
because
people
how
marry the
easy
11th
other
one.
person is?
Yeah.
That's why some
true.
people will marry the 11th one. And some people
That's
will
true.
say, no, I'm going back to
Unfortunately,
easy.
some men go through, this sounds awful, but some men go through them to get to that one.
It's true.
No, but then when they get to that one, usually then they still behave bad.
They do.
And that's the problem. A lot of wives are
That's
at home
the
crying
issue.
because
Yeah.
their husbands are not staying
And
at
that's
home.
why
They
people
still
are
want to go
single.
and play.
That's why women are single.
You know, let me say something to you, yeah? Do you understand? Do you know the meaning of embarrassment?
Go on, explain.
Yes. A lot of women don't want that in their
It's
home.
true, that's true.
You see, some women would
That's
rather stay. You see when they say keep your problems at home.
Keep it locked in the
Especially
house.
African.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah? They will keep
Jamaicans,
their
we like
hair.
to
Can you see?
That
You understand? African women is like, a lot of them is, when you get married, stay in that home.
Yeah.
But then you got the white women going on Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah,
and
you
they're like,
know.
Stay in that home.
true.
As soon as there's a problem, you come and discuss it with the
family,
elders.
yeah.
The elders
Yeah.
will tell you,
Go
go
back.
back to
Yeah.
your husband's house.
It's true.
So what
doesn't
you're
matter
having
what
is,
he does,
what
go
you're
back.
having is, you're going back home, B. It's lit.
So there's a recent survey on essence.com that said the reason why so many black women are single is because black men are scared to approach them. Do you think this is true?
We need to up our game.
So are you scared to approach a black woman?
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
just that I feel that black women they're too proud.
Proud?
Yeah.
Okay, honest, yeah. Oh, okay.
Black women, they're too proud.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
need to
that's why I kind of
have-
get put off by it.
Okay, let's see this, yeah. Since young, year
Yeah.
7,
Yeah.
I got violated by black women, like
Yeah.
dark-skinned women.
Yeah.
So obviously, white girls were easiest for me.
Yeah.
So I started liking white girls more.
Yeah.
But as I got older, my mum told me black women ain't the same.
Yeah.
And I see my sister and that they're calm. So now I date black girls.
Yeah.
But what I think is black girls is just stereotypes, isn't it?
It's the stereotypes of the angry black woman.
Huh? Yeah, like
Yeah.
the angry, bipolar and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So you now, as you've gotten older, you've got more confident in approaching black women?
Yeah, because obviously now, I don't know, I think my looks gone better. So
Oh.
when I drop game to black girls,
They're like,
they don't
they
mind
know.
now.
There are record number of women in their 30s who are freezing their eggs in the UK. So does this show that it's much harder to settle down and find the one in the UK? So is it a sense of, okay, because it's my generation, we spent our 20s building our careers, developing ourselves, taking our time, not rushing into anything, and then we hit our 30s and we're trying to find the one and we can't find him. Do you think that's why there's so
I
many
don't
women who are
believe in the
freezing
one.
their eggs?
I stopped believing in the one
There is
many,
no one.
many years ago. Like after
So
I
what
had
do you
my
believe
first
in?
proper heartbreak, I was like,
You've been
yeah, once
yeah.
that one happens, it's like you can't sit around waiting for the cool guy, the
No.
good guy, the guy that's got this. I've had good guys. I've had guys I can't freaking stand.
The good, the
I
bad,
just-
and the ugly. Yeah.
And he might be the perfect person for somebody else, but
not
just
for
not
you.
for me. Yeah,
Not for you.
I don't believe in the one. So he's not going to.
Because our generations now, there's a lot of people that they see each other.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Sorry, what? Like, I'm gonna say it. What the fuck does that mean? Seeing each other.
I think that's linking, right? When
Yeah,
you
of course.
just
Back in our day,
check
that-
someone,
but
you go your
It's
way,
like
you go your
I'm
way.
using
Yeah.
some of my debit amount
then-
on you.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't
But then
move
does
forward.
it mean that that's why women
It's not supposed to.
does it mean
Yeah.
but then does it mean that women are wasting their time seeing people in their 20s and when they reach their 30s
Yeah.
they're thinking, oh my god,
What's happened?
what's happened?
And that women now, because what the empowerment and being strong,
Yeah.
independent women, they don't need a man. This is
have a kid.
2017, and I was like, they don't need a man to have a kid. They can freeze their eggs and live a happy life
get
and have a kid later
artificial
on.
insemination, yeah, it's
They
true.
don't need the man.
Before I was with my current partner, I did look into that because
Who's lovely,
I
by the
remember
way.
you told me
because
about
I
it.
was kind of worried. I was kind of thinking, okay, I'm approaching like my late 20s.
Because you were kind of panicking a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh, she was, I remember.
Yeah, you
I
remember.
was like, okay, I'm really struggling to
She
find
was.
the right partner, and I did. And one of my friends actually, she had a baby by artificial insemination because she was 35, and she was like, Vanessa, I can't.
I don't think you should put an age
biologically,
on having a baby.
But she was like, biologically, this is
it's
my cut-off
harder.
time.
Hard, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she was
certain
saying,
age.
yeah. So she was like 35 years old. If I wait until
They'll tell
after,
you-
it's going to be high risk.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she made the choice
High
to
risk.
have a baby. So I did look into it, and it is something that I think, you do worry about, because men, like I said, it's very hard because of the standards that I have
Yeah, a lot of
to
hormones.
find, not a lot of men that respect women, or sometimes they're intimidated by women like myself that, I can look after myself, I've got my own business. Sometimes it can be quite intimidating. So I think these women, it's sort of like they're forced to freeze their eggs because it's just really hard.
You want to find love. Are you looking for love? You will find love. Are you
Yeah.
looking for
Well, I
litness?
wasn't looking for love when I found it. So I think sometimes it happens when you're not even looking.
It
But
happened
you,
to me
you
as
have
well.
to love yourself, is what I'm saying.
That's the truth.
Me,
Yeah.
I found my wife when I was I was loving myself, and she loved herself, and we realized that okay, we've now got
It's a
love
collaboration,
to give.
Yeah.
You have to have love to give. A lot of people don't have love to give. Nowadays, it's really about they give you so many platforms not to
Yeah.
communicate. People now receive messages and don't want to read it just because that's the site we live in.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a message, I'll read it later.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's true.
Messages are meant to be read straight away.
That's what they're there for. It's a
Replies are meant to
message.
be made
Instant
straight away.
messaging,
Instantly.
yes.
You have the access to do so straight away. That's why some people are seeing things and they're finding their way through life. And some people are seeing things and they're sitting on it.
It's true.
It all depends on the type of people are. And we live in the craziest time now.
We do. It's
Like, it's the craziest time. Like the conversations we're having are good because no one told us these things.
No.
Yeah, it's true. So there's a large number of women in their 30s who are freezing their eggs. Why
Yes.
do you think that is?
I may be one of them who might do it
Yeah.
one day because, I mean, I'm a singer-songwriter and I don't really want to have kids for a good few years. But I think nowadays our generation...
Too quick to have.
Yeah.
No, it's not that we're too quick to have one. If you're not ready to have one at a certain age, like
That's
I'm
the
in my
thing.
later half of the 20s,
Yeah.
and I don't want kids for a long time, nor do I want it with any randomer.
Yeah.
So guys, you heard it. So this conversation was very extremely interesting, and I just want to react a little bit, and I wrote a couple of pointers. I want to say that first of all, I didn't like the fact that they were talking over each other. I'd rather like a debate or a conversation where you let somebody else talk, as in, so that we can all listen to everyone's point of view. And I saw that the guy, the African guy was a bit more like very dominant, and he was trying to like interrupt everybody's point to bring his point across, which to me that really like messed up the entire conversation. But anyway, still we got something from it. So I want to just take in account most of the things that the African guy, I believe he seems like he's either from Ghana or from Nigeria. First of all, I wanna the notion of love, like do you believe in like is it called soulmate, or in one soulmate or one true love? I really don't believe. I believe that you can meet anybody and anybody can become your soulmate, so long as you guys have one path that is aligning, as in if you run with each other. I believe it's just not just one person who can be somebody's soulmate. Anybody can be your soulmate, obviously. So I think that when it comes to the African man, his point of view, it was more of towards him leaning towards the old generation. He's talking and bringing all his points was based on the old traditions of marriage and relationships, and he was when he was comparing his parents or his uncles or everyone from back in the village, not knowing that those days were like, they are past tense. Things don't happen that way anymore. A lot of things nowadays, like those days, women never used to go to even get education. I don't think they were getting education. They were mainly just housewives, and they didn't have career. They were just raising children, and mainly just the husbands who are the ones who were working and being sole breadwinners. So those days they didn't have any say in most of the things. That is why even their men were allowed, they were going anyhow, marrying other, bringing co-wives to them, and they had no say basically. So even if they had some of them had, not, I didn't say all, some of them had marriages that were very dysfunctional, and some of them had marital domestic violence, and they didn't have a say much in it, because the village elders were the ones who were actually mediators, and in most cases the village elders had even women in them, and most of the time the woman was blamed and being told, go back to your house regardless. So men were not placed, were not very accountable. They were not very accountable. They're like, as much as maybe a woman might have made a mistake, but still a man took advantage of the fact that she had no voice and she had no say. And even if she goes to the village elders, he is the one who is going to be offended, to be defended at the end of the day, and the woman's voice was not really being heard. So this made men very, very dominant, and they did whatever they want. They went out, married, and got married to 1, 2, 3, 4 wives, and did whatever they wanted, and still they were not satisfied. They were just like, all over the place. And but you cannot compare those days with now. Women are very independent, and it's like, it seems like the way he's talking is saying that because you are independent, it's less likely that you are ever gonna get married. It's less likely that anybody will find you and love you because you are independent and you are doing this and you have degrees and you're working, which I feel like it's not a way that he needs to reason out, to be honest. I feel like, why do they need to be threatened by a black woman's success? Like, I think that he didn't emphasize on the fact that the world has now changed dramatically, and now people live in two earning household where two people are earning at the same time, and it doesn't mean that there is a lesser gender than the other one. Like in most cases nowadays, a lot of men and women are leaning towards feminism, where genders are equal, and everybody's voice are heard. So when you heard the African man, the way he was reasoning out in the audience, it mostly seemed like he's still stuck in his old ways, whereby he's in the old tradition. In most cases, most African men have these old traditions that they still uphold up to today. They expect women to behave, they expect women to do this, and they expect women, but the same measure that they are like the same expectation that they are giving to women is not the same thing that they are also doing, because I believe that a woman cannot do whatever she does if there is no man who is willing to do it with her. So I think that as much as African men are asking for African women to be accountable and to behave differently and to have different characters and have different moral standing, a better moral standing, I think that it's also good for him to even also mention the male counterparts, to say that even them, they need, like, not only, it cannot only be females that it's their fault. Like, why is there? So I wrote some things here. First of all, I say that African men are becoming complacent and are not accountable based on exactly like the way he was talking. Is more of, he was leaning towards the female this, and the female need to be this, and the female needs to do this. The female, if they are independent and they are all this, nobody will want to marry them and all that. So I think that why does the African man require the woman to have morals and love themselves and act like in their place, like be in your place of a woman, be like a woman, when men are not even acting like men anymore? Like, to be honest, majority of them are very some of them are, I'm not saying all, by the way, I'm just saying some of them are very threatened by the female counterparts, that they don't want strong, they don't want independent, they don't want women with a say, with a voice. They don't want a woman who would not listen to the villagers, especially when a villager, when she is coming from she's being tortured in her home, and a lot of them would rather not listen to the villagers or mediators. They directly save their children by going to the divorce attorney, and or even if like counseling doesn't work, but if it didn't work for them, like nowadays, because of the fact that there is a lot of resources and people have internet, and a lot of these women are very traveled and very exposed. It's not like those days where he is still stuck at. Nowadays, the women, a lot of them know better to walk out before. It's better having a daughter, a live daughter, than having one in the coffin, because a lot of these men nowadays, a lot of them, do crazy things to women who are just sitting there and wait for things to be done to them, like everyone, like horrible things to be done to them in the name of marriage. So a lot of women are not afraid to say no. They are not afraid to stand up for what they know is right, and so for me, and then also I've noted something, the same measure they give the woman, much has to also be expected from a man when it comes to morals and integrity. Like, exactly, like I wish he could have, like most of the time, most men, they, and exactly what I mean by, you see, in our village, in our homes, in our community, mostly women are the ones who are getting groomed, and mothers are quite tougher on women more than they are tough on men. You could see this man is actually pointing fingers at women and saying women this and women that and women this. There is nowhere that he was speaking about men's accountability and men acting right, and men being not getting offended, or not getting not feeling like they are being what can I say, like they don't feel threatened by a woman's success, then they are acting right. They don't play with the woman's emotions. They guard them, and they treat them like the same way they would treat their sisters or their mothers. Like they cherish them, and they don't play with their emotion. To an extent, they don't just like fool around with them if they don't have any future with them. Like, you just sit a woman down and say, listen, what I'm looking for is 1, 2, 3, and it's not you. So I'd rather not waste my time wasting your time with you and sitting you here having a relationship with you and but then I'm never gonna, it's just like, be accountable. And so what else did I mention? I say that polygamous is acceptable when it comes to men practicing it, but it's acceptable when it comes to men practicing it, but it becomes unacceptable when women practice it, because he's arguing that women need to accept, even now, women in the now need to accept that there is more men, there's less men and more women, so they have to accept being second, third, or fourth wife. Like they asked to accept the fact that the man is going to be getting other side chicks. And what if a woman was to go and get a side dude? The roles, what is gonna happen? I really don't get it, honestly. All right, so then I know that if it's gonna happen when a man goes around and gets more wives, What about if a woman says, okay, you are getting more wives, let me also get more husbands, because it's not only you who have needs. I also have needs up in here. Like, you don't just be the one who's going around and doing whatever it is that you can do. Me too, I have my needs and I want what I want. So what would that world be, you know, if everybody was thinking equally? This man is obviously not thinking, the man in this video is obviously not thinking equally. Okay, so we because he was actually very, very stuck in the past and in the old traditions. And now I noted down that in the past, relationships and marriages were placed on a high value. They didn't just toss things away when broken, they fixed it. But nowadays there is sliding in DMs, Facebook, Tinder, people just tossing relationship and picking up another. And that is based on the fact that a lot of people are nowadays very easy, especially women are very easy, men are very easy as well. Everybody is just easy all the way. So people just be going, not fixing relationships, marriages. They don't want to stick around to fix. They just be dropping and picking, you know. And what else did I notice? The African man in this video is stuck in the old traditions when it comes to marriage and relationships. But in those days, women were not even expected to work. They were mainly housewives with no much exposure to the outside world and culture. Therefore, men had more power to do whatever they want. And even the village elders could not be in favor of women. I think I've said that. If when the woman is in the life has changed for them. So because nowadays the African woman doesn't want to just stick by and watch, you know, them being dominated. They've gone forward to get their own education, get their own cash, get their own things going. But then now the men are saying that if they are that independent and they have all their ish going, then nobody is gonna marry them at the end of the day. And I think a lot of women nowadays will just find it more comfortable being by themselves than even seeking you know, all this drama, you know. So anyway, you guys, the video is not gonna take this much long. I think that is my point of view when it comes to this video. I hope you guys like this type of content, and I hope you guys actually like the fact that I'm taking my time to give you back-to-back videos. You know, when I get something interesting to do, I will be giving you videos as much as I can. But thank you for sticking by, and thank you for subscribing, and see you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye bye. We are